There are two sides of my online arbitrage business. Now, I don't recommend this for everybody, but I'm going to break down exactly how I approach it so you can understand the different nuances of each one potentially, and then hopefully take that information and apply it to your situation. So first and foremost, I have two sides of the business. Like I said, right? I focus about 50% of my attention and my spend on rebate arbitrage and coupon arbitrage, and then I focus 50% of my spend on bulk deal, books, wholesale, and liquidation, depending on the time of the year and what I'm focused on. So first and foremost, about 50% of my spend goes to rebate arbitrage and coupon arbitrage. If you don't know what those are, rebate arbitrage basically means you're spending full retail on a product, you're getting full retail back. So maybe I buy into a product at 20 bucks, I get $20 back, and then I have a free product to resell back on Poshmark, Mercari, or eBay. As you see here, which we're going to go over the specifics here in a second, I intend with these two business models now to resell back on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, okay? So that is rebate arbitrage. Coupon arbitrage, you are literally buying into a product that might be $20, but you're getting a coupon code from the seller to maybe buy that product for 50 cents, maybe $1, maybe $3. It depends product to product. Now, there are a million different rebate sites. There are a million different coupon sites, and I have playlists on both of them. I will drop them at the bottom of the description if you want to check them out and learn a little bit more about them and some of the websites that you can source from. Now, like I did say, I spend about 50% of my money and my time focused on rebate arbitrage and coupon arbitrage. The reason being, yes, I do content creation, and that pays me very well, right? I create courses. We all know the premium course that I just plugged. Obviously, I create Udemy courses, Skillshare courses all over the place, and they pay me very, very well, right? And it's passive income. I also do online arbitrage in a more scalable fashion, like we're going to talk about here in a second, and I don't need to invest as much time in fulfillment. But that said, me personally still love the rebate and coupon arbitrage business model when you're fulfilling it yourself, because it's basically free cash flow with barely any risk, right? So to outline some of the benefits and the negatives and why I focus on this, I do intend, like I said, to resell these back on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. You're not selling these back on Amazon anymore. I've covered why I don't do that. Some people do. You can, but that's not something I want to get into today's video. So I do handle the logistics when I do this, right? The distribution and the shipping myself. I get these products, then I send them out through eBay, Poshmark, Mercari to those buyers, literally myself. I do it every morning. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't have the time for this. I barely have any time, regardless on what I do. I'm sure you're very, very busy too. That said, if I can do it, it only takes me about an hour to source in the morning, right, for all these things and do the fulfillment myself, right? Package a few things up and ship them in. I got one going out right here. I got one right there. I've got a couple books over there that I'm fulfilling, merchant fulfilled, because I'm trying to go after maximum approval on Amazon. So it barely takes me any time in the morning, and it can be anywhere from like 2 items all the way up to like 20, depending on the day. At the end of Q4, it was really getting kind of out of hand, and it was taking me like 2 hours, but that's not most days, okay? So it is easy. It's very, very low risk, and it's consistent cash flow, okay? Because you're getting these products super, super cheap or free to your door, barely spending any time to source them, so you're not going out to like stores or Goodwills or thrift shops or anything like that, or garage sales, and spending time and doing product research. You're literally getting free and very, very cheap products to your door, which you can then resell back online for 100% or very, very high profit margins. I also use a cashback credit card to make extra money on those purchases. So there's two that I recommend. I'll link them in the description. I think you can get like a $50 credit or a $40 credit depending on the card. I haven't looked into that in a while. It helps both of us out. You get a credit on your statement, so do I. The one that I use most is the Discover It card. The other one that I use is the Amazon Store card. They both work very, very well, and they both give you high cash back because a lot of these, the majority of the rebate arbitrage and the coupon arbitrage products, if not practically all of them, are going to be purchased on Amazon, okay? So, like I said, I use a cashback credit card to make extra money if I'm spending like $3,000 a month on cashback or coupon products, right? And I'm earning 5%. Well, let's do a little bit of math there, right? How much actually is that extra that I wouldn't have spent? So $3,000 is, probably typical on most times. And remember, I'm not actually spending this. I'm just using it on my credit card, getting the money back most of the time, and maybe after coupon products, I'm getting like $2,800 back or like $28,500 back or something like that. So I'm barely spending any money for hundreds of products. So if we take $3,000 is what I'm spending, even though I'm getting it back, and I get 5% on that $3,000, that's an extra $150 every single month just for using a cashback credit card that you otherwise wouldn't get if you didn't, right? So use a cashback credit card big if here, if you're responsible and you can pay it back. Always pay it back. Don't let it build up. That's a bad way to go. If you're not responsible, just use a debit card or use what you have. You can use a credit card also to track your cost of goods. It's another benefit of using that cashback credit card. That way you can literally at the end of the month or the quarter or however you want to do it, right? Or the end of the week, if you really want to do it weekly, you can focus on, okay, this is your cost of goods. This is what you profited. This is what you got back. How profitable are you, right? And I keep organized spreadsheets. I've covered this a million times as well on this channel to track literally everything in the overall profitability. Now, it's better doing it with this and rebate or coupon arbitrage, because you want to track all those things. You want to track to see if you're getting your rebates back. That way you can kind of focus and maintain that. Now, every single website obviously tracks that for you, but you don't want to trust the website that's going to tell you, hey, you got your coupon code back, hey, you got your cash back. You want to track it as well and make sure that you're profitable. Also track your profit on each sale. It's very, very easy to do. A lot of people, this is another route that people complain on. It's like, I don't have all the time to track it. Like I said, I'm very, very busy. I'm sure you're busy, very, very busy too. It doesn't take very long at all. You can simply set up a spreadsheet. The next thing that I do is I focus half my spend, and this is not getting any money back, right? This is literally spending into products like normal arbitrage, where you're gonna have to wait for that return on your investment, right? So I spend 50% of my money and 50% of my time focused on more scalable business models, right? So I have my cash flow side of things with the rebate and coupon arbitrage, where I do all the fulfillment on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari myself. And then I have the more scalable side where I'm sourcing from my computer and shipping in FBA to leverage Amazon's FBA and distribution, right? So that includes things like bulk deal, books, wholesale, liquidation arbitrage, all those depending on the time of year. Now, I'm getting more into wholesale and liquidation now because it's past Q4 and it's almost the end of book season. But for a while there in Q4, I was literally only focused on bulk deal and books because it was the end of Q4. So the bulk deal has a lot of top brands where you can flip, and they flip like candy in Q4. It's still good now. Don't get me wrong. You can do bulk deal and any of these all year long. But at the end and heart of Q4 was like bulk deal was like crazy, crazy profitable, and they were flipping so fast, right? Books, same thing, right? So the books flipped a little bit in Q4, but really I was just buying into a lot of inventory. I spent thousands of dollars on books probably from like September all the way into like early January, and literally they're flipping like candy right now because it is textbook season. So you want to be prepared next textbook season. I forget exactly when the textbook seasons are. It might be like April or May or something like that. Look into it. There's two main ones, and then there's a summer one as well. You can Google that information very, very easily. But what you want to do is you want to identify when that textbook season is. Currently, textbook season is running from like, I think it's like mid to early January all the way to like mid-February or something like that roughly. But the key here is you want to buy into book inventory ahead of time and then ship it into FBA right before that window and mark all your products up. What that's going to do is, because there's so much demand during textbook season for students to buy textbooks, all that inventory is going to be sold out, and you're going to be able to sell it at higher profit margins, and students need those textbooks, right? So they're all going to resell. They're all going to sell for high margins. And think about it. I've been a student before myself, right? Most students, at least the students that I know, most of them have parents, or, they're just charging it up or taking out loans to buy these books. They're not thinking, it's not like it's their money most of the time, right? So it's not like they're sitting there thinking on the internet, like, I gotta find the book for like $10 less. I gotta find the best deal on this book. No, they're literally Googling it or searching Amazon for the book that they need if they don't buy it in the store, and they're buying whatever one is on the buy box, right? So if that's the best way that you can make money on textbooks, you can make money on textbooks all year, like I said. That said, you do want to buy them ahead of time before textbook season and ship them all in pre-textbook season so that when textbook season hits, boom, you're going to profit thousands of dollars if you have thousands of dollars in inventory. I think I spent like $3 or $4 grand. I spent a couple grand. I don't know the numbers. I'd have to look at my spreadsheets, right? And I probably made at least double that back, right? So you're not going to find a better return on your investment at that profitability, right? So you're spending like a couple grand to make a couple grand back literally like in a month. It doesn't happen like that anywhere else. If you're doing bulk deal, you have to sell more units, right? Whereas books, you literally can be profiting like a couple $100 a book if you're buying good, high quality textbooks. So I've covered that many, many times. Like I said, I'm going to drop all these down at the bottom of the description too. So the bulk deal playlist, along with the cashback and the coupon playlist, the book playlist, the wholesale playlist, and the liquidation playlist. All 6 of those playlists down at the bottom of the description. if you're more interested in any one of these in particular, right? So I've covered that before. I'm not going to get too heavy into sourcing books in this video, but this is basically what I do, right? 50% on this because it's easy cash flow every single month, basically free money. And then 50% of the more scalable side of business where I'm spending my money and letting Amazon do all the fulfillment, the distribution, the customer service, and I'm leveraging FBA and their employees' time, right? With these specifically, my intention is to resell back on Amazon, and I'm sourcing with specific product listings in mind, right? So I'm looking for a book, I'm finding that product listing, and I'm seeing, okay, what is the competition on that look like? What's the sales velocity, right? Is it going to be profitable reselling it back on that listing, okay? Whereas the other ones I'm focused on reselling on other platforms, eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, where this I'm specifically focused on reselling back on Amazon, okay? Little bit of discrepancy there, right? And like I said, with that, you're able to actually judge the potential sales velocity, the competition, and how deep, more importantly, you want to go into inventory. Because you can obviously look at the competition, you can look at the keep chart, right? And you can also look at the potential sales each month and how much it's actually selling, so you know how many of that specific book or that specific, product to buy and ship in, okay? You can leverage FBA, which is huge. That's why it's way more scalable. Now, there are higher ROIs here with bulk deals and books and wholesale and liquidation, although it is more risk because while you can look at the the sales velocity and get a good identifier of how much it's selling and what the competition is, you are not, guessing's the wrong word, but there isn't necessarily a sure thing here. You can do everything, obviously throughout the checklist that I go over in all the tutorials and make sure that you're as close to, sure as possible. But at the end of the day, bestseller ranks change, competition changes, sales velocity is going to change, and all that stuff changes. So it is a little bit more of a higher risk, especially because you're spending actual money to make your money back. Whereas a lot of these, if you're buying coupon products, you're only risking like $1 or $2 here and there. When you're buying rebate products, you're literally getting all your money back. So you're only really risking your time to fulfill it. Whereas with these, you are risking higher amounts of money, right? So if I'm buying into a book that's going to, make me $200, chances are I probably spent like $50 to get that, or like $30 to get that, or like even like $90 to get that, whereas it can resell back on Amazon for like $100 or $200 or $250, right? So it is a little bit more higher risk, and you do have to, wait a little bit potentially longer for your return on your investment. Now, if it's bulk deal, you might not be waiting as long, but you might be spending like $15 to make like, $5 after all the fees and your product sells, right? Maybe you're buying it for like 15, the product sells at 30. After all the fees and shipping into FBA, you're only netting $5, right? So it is a little bit more higher risk. The margins and the ROIs can be higher typically, although you do have to have less time. One of the benefits though is you do have less time invested with like listing and fulfillment and shipping out if you don't like that type of stuff, right? You can spend a lot more time, and people always ask me this, is like, how much time do you spend? What are the best websites? Use them all, right? But one of the best things about this is you can spend a lot of time sourcing, because once you do find a couple good products, you can buy a lot of that product, whether it's bulk, whether it's books, whether it's wholesale, right? If it's liquidation, it's a little bit different because you're buying a pallet, but you can focus on the liquidation arbitrage playlist if you're interested in liquidation, okay? So I also use a cashback credit card and make extra money on these purchases, same thing. And I also keep organized spreadsheets to track everything and overall profitability with these. Although I am looking into an inventory lab to actually test that out. I don't personally want to recommend that yet because I haven't actually set it up and kind of mastered it myself. But obviously, if there's a good software out there like Inventory Lab or something that can actually do that for you and save you time, I'm a big proponent of that. But I want to learn it and master it first before I'm comfortable recommending it to you guys. So I hope you like this outline. That is the two sides of my online arbitrage business. One where I do the fulfillment, but it's less risk and it's easy cash flow. And one where I leverage FBA and they do the fulfillment, right? And it's a little bit higher risk, but a little bit higher returns on my investment.